What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 10 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, Mr. Dolph Hartwiggins had himself a very good day as he fought the Wood Elves repeatedly, and though they are the type of faction and army, or armies that are sort of ideal for facing off against them, he was able to come out ahead. He is fairly heavily damaged though. We do have to be careful about sudden attack from Snorko or Weirdy or anything like that, but well, I'm very proud of him. Anyway, let's do his points. We do have a big battle to fight, i.e. the quest for Gotrek and Felix at last. I don't see... Wait, taste for battle and strength of hardship. Yeah, none of that applies to any of this. And... funnily enough, we can move towards Quartermaster, but I feel like since you're on a tank now, we should probably power you up as well. Make you do even more damage, including explosive damage. So let's do piercing shots and then move through extra powder. And Survivalist will be quite nice here as well. Fire Mage, you did pretty good in your fight as well, sir. Let's get you Controlled Anger for that fire resistance for the army, and the additional little bit of speed wouldn't go amiss either, I'd wager. Alright, Controlled Anger. Next up, we've got the Witch Hunter, one level away from acquiring that Witch Hunter retinue. I'm interested to see how it serves us. Now, you've got 3 points. We don't need the Mark of Hish, I'd wager, at least not right now. And I don't really care about the Enemy of the Undead thing, at least not at the moment, though. Enemy army vigor loss reduction +5. Enemy missile resistance -8 for characters. Alright, that's not bad though. Maybe we'll do that. Your self-defense chance, just taking a look at what else this guy can do. And we should probably get him extra powder first, just to buff up any units that he's near, though. Let's do silver bullets, because he's mostly doing damage in range, and we'll go for Enemy of the Undead as well. Alright, that looks good to me. Now, Karl, 'tis your time, sir. As to whether to shine or not remains to be seen. Let's probably level everybody up before the fight. And, ooh, wait, I was trying to remember. So, this Empire Captain here... You have for the cause and lead the state troops, and I guess you then, Ludwig, are going to go through 10 the war horses and get your demigriff. Ooh, probably then time to get the Royal Altdorf Griffites. Wait. I guess we probably want to get your Killing Blow and get the bonus XP in the fight before we do, so let's get Raise Your Hammers. This guy's gonna hit so dang hard once we're through with him. Which is as it should be. Ulrika, this is probably your last fight in Karl's army before we swap you out to another one, so let's get you increased mobility. And, oh, well, maybe we can travel with her to Kislev just to take advantage of the increased mobility. There is that to be... And I do like the Penumbral Pendulum in here as well. Alright, well, there are reasons to maybe keep some stuff, but anyway, grab Smoke and Mirrors for you as well. The... Warrior Priest. We should probably go through towards Benediction. I still haven't decided whether we want more the Divine Power or the Armor of Righteousness. The Armor of Righteousness essentially weakens the guy's melee defenses, or just makes him less tanky, considerably less tanky. -30 armor, -5 melee defense, -50% leadership aura, but it gives bolstered attack, which is nice because bolstered leadership isn't really needed for the type of units in Karl's army. However, divine power makes him tankier, gives more fire resistance to the army, reduces enemy spell resistance, and gives us physical resistance, obviously at the cost of most of the stuff. It's a hard choice. Well, I'll continue thinking about it, which means we will come back to it when he's like level 50. Anyway, the other Empire Captain, you wanted to go through Retinue Bard because combine that with Lead the State Troops, you're going to have a huge leadership aura, and you're the guy that's not on a horse, so you're there to lead our infantry, which makes sense. You... Bruckner are gonna grab Deadly Onslaught for yourself, and then I guess move through... I'd say hard to hit. Your melee defense is disgustingly low. Anyway. I wish I remembered what I was doing with the Gold Wizard, but I guess we could just max out his, or give him the ability to overcast his fancier spells. Oh, you know what? Maybe Glittering Robe? No, actually it won't help. Physical and missile resistance, that would not help Gotrek and Felix survive because they have... Yeah, Transmutation of Lead is the better pick. Reduce enemy melee attack. Let's do that. Yeah, the Slaanesh that are part of the quest are going to be doing magical damage. And speaking of the quest, let's see what we've got here. Geheimnistag, or the Floating Holiday, as it is known among citizens of the Empire, marks that rarest of occasions when both the twin moons of Morsleeb and Mansleeb are risen and bright in the night, thinning the veil that separates the mortal realm from the other planes of existence. It is no coincidence that on one such Geheimnisnacht Eve, the hallowed dwarf slayer Gotrek and his mannish companion chronicler Felix Jaeger detected and defeated a Slaanesh cult, only to find themselves transported to the realm of chaos to face more horrors at the whim of the insidious Prince of Pleasure. His game master, a keeper of secrets, must be found and killed for Slaanesh's foul game to finally end. Away we go. Okay, I thought for a second that crashed the game. I was like, the heck, really? That would have been unfortunate. Away. It is Geheimnisnacht Eve, when the twin moons of Morsleeb and Mansleeb are high in the night sky and the veil between the planes of existence is thin. That well-known dwarf slayer of legend, Gotrek, and his chronicler companion Felix Jaeger have exposed and dealt with an exceptionally vile cult of Slaanesh at the heart of the Empire. Suddenly, on this evening of mystery, they find themselves transported through a portal.
The day of mystery thins the veil between worlds. Slaanesh enacts his vengeance, dragging enemies from across the mortal world into his dark realm. Among the captured, the rogues Gotrek and Felix fight, battling to escape the Prince of Pleasure's domain. Only destroying his arcane portals would weaken the Dark Prince's grip. Yet those protecting them will demand a toll in blood. No matter the price, Gotrek and Felix cannot fall, for their survival will deal Slaanesh a deadly blow and prove vital in the adventures to come.
Alrighty, here we go. Nature of this battle is to rush towards Gotrek and Felix as fast as humanly possible in order to prevent them from getting surrounded and destroyed. They can be pretty fragile despite all of the buffs and stuff that they have in terms of healing when they're together. Anyway, we're gonna start the battle off by having Karl try to go after the exalted Keeper of Secrets, but it looks like they're just going to run past us and, of course, head towards Gotrek and Felix with the rest. Fortunately, we do have a Warrior Priest, and said Warrior Priest will activate Shield of Faith to hopefully keep them a little bit healthier with all of that damage resistance, while we sort of blob everybody in and slowly but surely move our infantry forward as well. They are a bit slow compared to the Slaanesh, admittedly. Though on the bright side, we do have the range, so we can start dropping a few grenades into the massive blob of Slaanesh, even if it prevents us seeing from what the heck is going on over there. Alright, how's that Exalted Keeper of Secrets looking? Down to about 30%. Karl's unfortunately busy with other stuff at the current time, and frankly, it's a pretty target-rich environment out here, to the point that what the heck is going on? The Karlberg Great Swords have arrived at last. They faced off against the forces of chaos already, and, well, hopefully they can cut down those demons. Still really banking on finding a Lichbone Pennant sooner rather than later so that we can give them magical attacks. They really need it, especially as a legendary unit, and the fact that Karl lacks magical attacks in his army, generally speaking. On the bright side, the Keeper of Secrets down to about 10% of its HP. The Van Horsten Speculum is debuffing everybody, and the Keeper of Secrets will fall, but more Slaanesh are very much on the way. Karl has found the Allurus of the 3 Alluruses that we need to kill in order to win the battle, and has essentially reached the furthest one from us. He should be able to kill her in the same way that he's killed pretty much every boss he's come into contact with. We are trying to move our Reiksguard over on the right flank, together with some of the Great Swords and Imperial Foot up the ramp, as there should be another Allurus here. And in fact, there we go. That Allurus has been lured to attack us. And we just need a hero to actually kill said Allurus off, because the Reiksguard will take too long to do it. Actually, I'm interested to see how well they can handle the Fiends of Slaanesh here as well. But with the Zinkla's Reiksguard and their anti-large, it should probably go a decent bit faster. Over on the other side, not so much on the right flank, but, you know, the right flank of the left flank, I guess, if you want to call it that. Looks like the Demonettes have done a fairly decent bit of damage to our second unit of Reiksguard, but the Imperial Foot are going to move in to block them off. Oh, and there is also another Allurus and Chaos Warriors here. 1 down, 2 to go, as Karl has defeated the Allurus, the third one, and by the looks of it, the Furies that have moved to intercept. And by the looks of it, we have managed to keep Gotrek and Felix pretty safe. Gotrek's at about a full HP. Of course, compared to the Thorgrim campaign, his stats are garbage here. I mean, they're good, good solid sort of hero and or lord stats, as in compared to those two. But in Thorgrim's campaign, especially since we can give him runes, we were able to get him 100 armor on top of like 150 melee defense and over 100 attack, or something silly along those lines, which was pretty fun. And then we did the same thing with all of the Slayers, granted, but, well, here we have Gotrek. We'll see what heights we can take him when he's with the Empire, rather than with fellow Dowie. Nice charge from the Reiksguard over on the left flank again as they backed off and then charged back on in, and it looks like the enemies are beginning to flee. The last of the Alluruses has been killed by one of the, or banished, by one of the heroes, or Karl, possibly somebody, and with that, the battle comes to a close. We were able to hold the enemy back, though tactically, it's a sort of blob action, just two blobs smashing into each other, but hey, it is the realm of Slaanesh after all, and gotta have some of those mindless repetitive actions. Alright, there we go. A pretty nice fight, at least in the sense of the fighting, not so much in the sense of quest design, because I've never liked the sort of escort quest style thing that we got there, though I do find it both amusing and appropriate that Slaanesh has an escort quest, but anyway, the Gotrek and Felix, all they have to do is make them controllable in that fight, and it'll be a much less annoying quest, but here you kind of have to blob up on top of them so they don't get insta-killed, and by being surrounded by Slaaneshi demons. Anyway, and we could heal up to full, but we gotta spend a turn healing anyway, so we might as well pardon the captives and take the cash. And, oh! Well, we get Chief Victory over Slaanesh for Karl. That will come in handy, as he will most likely be going up north, which means also fighting Azazel. You're gonna encamp. Gotrek and Felix on field. Now, they don't really have space in Karl's army, as much as I'd like for them to be there. Maybe they could go north with the Nordlanders. Let's put them north with the Nordlanders for now. Later, I think we'll put them in an army that has some dwarfs and stuff, though, I mean, the pirate nautical-themed army could certainly use them. Ferryman for the Tech Thief. No, Tech Thief, no. No Ferryman for you. Smuggler for Ulrika, good. Apprentice Wizard, good for anybody. Charcoal Burner, there we go, Karl. And hey, more money, beautiful. But it's the Casualty or Punishment, Immunity to Attrition, and most importantly, Control plus 25 to counteract the Confederation. And that we wanted out of that. Lovely, and Specialist into Steel Tech for you. We gotta get up to that rank 12, and then, well, 13 to get Celestia. No, to get Lord's Counselor and that bonus success chance. Gotta get those Tech Thieves thieving. And I'm still so salty about last episode and how our very first Tech Thief, our very first attempt to steal tech, saw him immediately critically wounded. And it's happened in like 3 campaigns, or at least 3 campaigns for me, and somebody out there hates me. Anyway, a Recruiter Beckberg, you are going to recruit a Null Ironside and 2 HOCHLAND long rifles to join the rifleman army here that is currently under construction. We still do want the Gunderman's Surefires. We can probably put some Bordermen in there if we wanted to. I mean, they are handgunners, it's just that they're grenade units. You know what, we'll see if we have room and then we'll play it by ear depending. Let's also see, we have a decent bit of prestige now. I wanted to do Inquisition in order to get rid of all the corruption here, because it's kind of insanity. Let's do this, perform. Help HOCHLAND out a little bit. There we go. It'll still be super negative here, but at least it won't be so bad. How long? It's just instant, right? Yeah. But it'll take a while for the Nurglite corruption to build back up. That said, you have 1 turn left on your plague. Let's hope that it doesn't get transferred. And then you can leave this place, Gosser. Also, what else do we have in terms of our abilities here? Oh, yes, we're saving Requisition for a couple more turns, and then we'll do it once the new units turn over. This is the War Declaration. This we might use next turn, but for now we'll leave it alone. Spawn Degrading Army, that's irrelevant to us. The Grants 2 population surplus will come in very handy soon as well. Also, in theory... I wonder. So Governor Bill... Or, okay, maybe not Governor Billings, but Recruiter Albrecht is level 13. Oh. So we could use 1,000 prestige to go up 1 level, which feels like it's probably not enough. I think we need more. He'll level over time himself either way. Alright, well then we can ignore him. Karl, Europe also, I guess we can ignore you. I really don't like the idea of this plague, though. I guess we could go out here. You know what? Start moving this way. You're still going to try to hit Castle Lancaster shortly, and you still need to transfer the troops out. I forgot to move Felix. Alright, you move in here. We'll transfer the troops, and we'll head back this way. We should be able to get the land ships up and running in the next couple of turns as well, or at the very least start recruiting them. It's going to take a bit, but, you know, on the way. All things in due time. Gosser won't move, or Gossa won't move. Marius Leitdorf... probably not going to go into Schwarzhofen because we don't know what's here, so just stay there. Gelty boy, you are going to go here. Loot the carcass. It's a small fight, but I think it's worth fighting because we have basically no troops and allow Gelt to show off a little bit. He's on field at last after all. Go. Alright, here we go to battle indeed. I hate having an army wait around, so even if Gelt only has a less than a half stack, something like a third stack, he still can head into battle. At least this way it feels like his army's producing something, rather than just eating our cash. Anyway, we're gonna start off with Gelt moving in by himself with, well, not so much by himself, with his Empire Captain. I'm gonna hit the Vampire Fleet Admiral with a final transmutation to massively debuff that melee defense, and start dishing out some damage while the two simply go after the enemy lord whilst in the midst of the formation. Now, we could obviously drop spells on this, Searing Doom and Gehenna's Golden Hands, and clear all of this out. I don't really want to do that, just generally because I don't like to do that, when the enemy is stupidly blobbing up its entire army around us. So, we're just going to wait until the rest of our army gets here. And it looks like the Vampire Fleet Admiral, in calling the units of zombies to defend it, will be able to back off, but will not escape the final transmutation. Now, Gelt and the Empire Captain are trapped in there, but luckily for them, the 2 units of Depth Guard, running at 50 speed, are actually trying to go after our Knights of the Black Rose, and are thus ignoring these 2. They really could have done a number on them instead, but it looks like that worked out reasonably well for us. Time for the Knights of the Black Rose to do their thing. At least this particular island map, being a Tomb King's Island map, is one where we, or beach map, whatever you want to call it, is one where we've got nice open sort of terrain, and I like the lighting in here as well. Everything is nice and visible. Alright, and here come the 2nd and 3rd units of Knights of the Black Rose, getting ready to smash into the enemies that are still surrounding Gelt and the Empire Captain. I guess his name doesn't really matter. And as soon as we have sufficient units in here, then we're going to be able to drop a few spells. Maybe not Gehennas, but certainly some Searing Dooms, as it won't feel as bad. There we go. A nice charge from those guys. Obviously not as nice as a Lance charge, but between bleed and the fact that these guys can actually sit in combat for a while without taking insane amounts of damage, that should be plenty. There we go. And obviously they're not going to stay in Gelt's army, but I'm sure that if we gain sufficient XP with them, we can peel them off into their own army. Or another army. Anyway, we do have the major concern of the depth guard, especially the depth guard with halberds over on, well, one of the units of Knights of Black Rose. They're all kind of intermingled with each other, but it looks like one is taking much more damage. Oh, actually, no, this one's taking damage as well. Yeah, gotta watch out for those depth guard. But that's alright. We hit the first Searing Doom, and I guess one more Searing Doom will probably hurt the depth guard a fairly decent bit. I don't imagine that they can kill off the Knights of the Black Rose. And we can help with a second final transmutation. There we go. Bleed, corroded armor, and final transmutation, lowering their armor and melee defense. A couple more Searing Dooms gonna come down. I believe this hits the other unit of depth guard. This is being the one with the twin axes. Mostly because this one is blobbed up a little bit better than the halberdier one was, and thus, yeah. Nice to see the sort of full plate units, ours and the enemies, engaging each other, and I do believe the battle is nearly ours. Exchanging blows is what I was trying to say before I confused myself. There we go. Alright, third Searing Doom down among the halberds, or amongst the halberds. Bounce power shifts about 95% in our favor. Gelt is down in the midst of the fight as well. I gotta double check if he has any abilities that are only active when he's not in melee, because the gold wizards do, though obviously Gelt doesn't really need another gold wizard in his army. Or maybe he does. Or we could put 2 more gold wizards in his armies. I mean, Gelt does like some additional wizards in his force, and being able to cast 3 Gehenna's Golden Hounds and stuff might be entertaining. I'll think about it as to whether we use a bunch of different wizards or just sort of have Gelt have some apprentices that he's training up. Admittedly, at this point, we don't have anywhere near the capacity we need for wizards, and a couple of our armies are already looking like they won't have a wizard for a while. But hey, as we know from Thorgrim's campaign, you don't need no fancy wizard to win. Just, well, for the dwarfs mostly. Well, actually, Faith, Steel, and Gunpowder kind of works for them as well. Maybe not the same kind of faith as the manlings have, but you know, it still works quite well. Anyway, a lovely little fight. Let's see if we roll big money on this island. They will never move again, to quote Mr. Goldenface, and pretty accurate at that. True death for all the vamps. Now, Gelt did pretty well, 255 kills and 38,000 damage. That's all considering that, generally speaking, we could have killed the entire army with just Bike himself, but I don't like to drop, spells on top of blobs, as I said, so allowed the Knights of the Black Rose to play. I guess we can peel them off to join a Order of the Black Rose sort of centric army later on, as Elspeth doesn't really focus on them as much, and will want a Grandmaster to lead them, most likely. Anyway, a nice little fight. Just want to make sure that we pick up that island while we can't have Gelt, running around on his own as yet. Probably get to pop the Sunmaker into the army as well. Ooh, a free coachman. Nice, free 8,000 gold as well. Gelt, you're going to land back in Citadel of Myrmidia. Step to it. Hopefully you can still heal. Yeah, I can still heal, good. Alrighty, and then you're building the stuff for Gelt, and he'll get the Sunmaker. Frankly, we'll probably just move him to grab this island while we wait for his army. Get him some XP, and he'll be level 25 sooner than you know. And that'll allow us to get access to another quest, which will come in handy for the next Confederation. Lovely. What do we want to do with the decent bit of change that we've racked up here? Probably could build something somewhere. Just want to double check that we're recruiting everywhere we want to be recruiting, because we've got several armies that really need to go out there and do things. Yeah, you're recruiting, it's going to take a while, but that's fine. That's fine, it's not a big deal. It'll be extra turns where we won't have to worry about the, our economy tanking. Galser, we checked. I think that was the last thing that I wanted to do this turn, other than building buildings, so let's get to building. And no money to be made here at Palisbert. Drakvald, or... alright. Can we, or should we invest in the common temples? 8.2k. I'm still gonna say no. It's still too expensive. Let us, however, build the toll gates up. Wow, that is also horrifically expensive, but it is necessary due to the adjacency. We will want several of the engineers' workshops, so the expense must be paid here as well. Tom, you're free to upgrade the toll gates. There goes all our cash. And we're building the wizard building. I guess we want to build the gunsmith as well. Alright, now, let's build some stuff that's a little bit on the cheaper side, if we can find it. Oh, Stedham, you're gonna need an upgrade. Alright, well, there goes all our cash. What can you do? On the bright side, you can... Oh, I was about to say you can host Festag, but... I guess not. I guess if we are to build common temples here, then we can do so afterwards. Alright, well, that's all the money. Skip. I assume we did diplomacy last episode, so I'm not going to deal with that at all. Ambassador to the Tsarina nearly completed. And just want those red-eye orcs to ask for peace while we join war. Oh! Could have sent Karl to deal with these guys. Well, no, he's still quite far, and I really don't want to travel this way, as there's nothing there for us, to be honest. I want to go north, where there's chaos to fight. Eventually, we'll most likely run into Archaon, because he'll be getting stronger and stronger. Yes. Anyway, end turn. Alright, recruiting surplus. Recruitment cost reduction for 25% for all units? Yes. They say you revel in victory. They say you spend more time erecting monuments to battles past than managing the realm. They say you are a fool. Perhaps a more humble approach. While you cannot be dictated to by rumors and whispers, less time boasting and more spent planning future victories might be wiser. And what do we have here? Field to Vostland +1 at the cost of prestige. Field to Vostland +1 at the cost of money, and we're at 10, so I guess we are going to do nothing here. I will, however, give this a read. It has come to light that Valmir von Raukov of Ostland has discovered an insurrectionist plot against them by a powerful rival noble. Imperial assistance will be required to quash the plot, but there are fears that such a claim will not be acted upon without the backing of another elector. Using your political clout, you could offer your support to Ostland to get the backing needed to investigate the plot fully and bring those responsible to justice. There may be other motivations behind these claims. It would be best not to get involved. Recruitment -5, good for that guy. Oh, I forgot to kick in Federation. Wargrove of Woe destroyed. Damn, dwarfs did finish them off. Well, not great. Essen's gonna cost us 80. Oh, wow. 8.2, not a lot, but they won't accept my... Oh, hello, free Nachtdorf. 2.6k for 0.8. Why must the AI inflate these so much? It's kind of insane. So at least we got the full province out of this. Collecting... Nope, don't bother. It's 400. Go to Council of Burgomeisters and we can start upgrading. I'm going to say you because it's still relatively cheap. Yes. Alright, do that. And Ambassador to the Tsarina up and running. And come from all buildings. Woodsman for Jürgen Wagner. No. Leopold von Bildhofen. Okay, everybody's getting stuff. I get it, game. I get it. Thank you. Province East March. Yes. Okay, what I wanted to do was we got a coachman or a trade guy or something or somebody. Not one of these. It wasn't a tradesman. Or was it a trade? No. I thought I saw that we got something that needed to be put on someone. I'm being very clear. Coachman. Yes. Yes. See, I'm not crazy. You're crazy. There we go. Alrighty, first of all, Diplo, because I'm gonna forget. -24. Darn, I was hoping that because Harganeth just got just fighting them that they would be willing to confed now, but alas, not so much. Alright, fair enough. The rest of this we can ignore. Ice Court. At last want to be more friendly. Oh, we can go straight up defensive alliance and trade agreement with them. Good. And that's gonna give us some vision.
Kislev,
and they're going to get very angry when we attack their allies, but what can you do? Too bad that there isn't a way to acquire it otherwise. Urson Revivalists, I really do want a defensive alliance with them, but there's a reason we have not. I don't want diplomatic contact with Scaling, which will immediately declare war on us until our nautical nonsense army is ready. The rest of this we can ignore. Wow, Clan Creepus. We shouldn't, though. They are in the midst of our territory. Alright, just in case, wait, I just want to see... Yeah, no diplomatic contact. We will keep out of diplomatic contact with them. Alright, so, you. We can now declare war on you, but obviously don't want to because their allies are all the Kislevites, and they will probably get drawn into it. Are you willing to peace out yet? No. Alright, we'll just have to pay attention to that and, I don't know, stay here. I guess we could send another army to do it rather than have Karl do it. But it kind of bothers me. Nonetheless, anyway, I would like to make some space here. So, you. Take the halberd. Oh, wait, we need to be in our own. Okay, don't take the halberd. Take Bruckner and take Ulrika. And then obviously give him the Noble Sons Abroad. There we go. Oh, actually, Bruckner, you're going to leave the army. You're going to your own army. Wherever the livery was. We have a tier 4 ready soon here. You know what, let's start building it up. Bruckner is going to have his demi-grips. Probably a super elite army with just a few units in it, like not a pile of units, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna hope that you don't pick up the plague, and I'm gonna be sad if you do. But it is what it is. I'm not waiting for it. At the same time, we could always plague ship you if we need to. You're now good. You can keep Ulrika in your army as well. You're headed north. Get ready to start on your army. Karl. Alright, I'll give it a couple of turns. Karl's still got the most playtime so far, and him having a bit of a rest to ensure that we get the missing portions of land is still okay by me. Imperial Architects is nice, but I think there's a bunch of stuff that takes only 2 turns that we should get, and we're going to start with the anti-plague thing in the campaign movement range, and then go for a few other things, like improved cavalry armor, which is pretty nice. Alrighty. Let's go from the top. Dolf Hertwigens, you. Could besiege these guys and fight, or just stay here and wait. Where do we send Gavin? Ugh, Essen. Could send you to besiege Waldenhof. We do have... Oh, this doesn't count as raiding, does it? No, it doesn't. Okay. That would have been annoying. Are you guys at war with Waldenhof? They are not. So you could besiege it from this direction. Next turn, hopefully before the dwarfs do. I want to double check how much this place costs again.
Welcome to my throng.
8.2, ugh, okay, what we probably will want to do is grab a territory from the Red Eye and transfer it to them, or move up to Hell Cave. They might even trade us in for that. Alright, Gavin, I might have to send you into the mountains for this. That wasn't what I wanted or expected, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Elspeth, you are heading to find Vladdy. I wish that it didn't have to be in this foresty area. But nonetheless. Go. Huh. Oh, this is probably full of rats, and it's full of rats that we are at war with. Maybe I should have gone for Oakenhammer and then traded it back to them. Yeah, that would have probably been by far the better choice with Elspeth. Oh, well, we'll do it next time. You're gonna need to cross, and you... Tempted to have you kill this guy just for the XP and money, but we're not at war with them yet. Although I guess it doesn't change anything. Well, actually it would, because this guy would probably move in to defend Waldenhof from Gavin, not that I would expect him to win. We can't take Schwarzhofen, because then they'll get attacked by these guys, and we still don't know where Vlad is. Also, let's level up Elspeth in case we get mobbed and attacked by like 3 armies. Elspeth, you have Pistol Corps. You will want artillery, whatever. Imperial Gunnery. Which, interestingly, doesn't buff steam tanks. But it is what it is. It is unfortunate because Elspeth's very point hungry. But nonetheless. Anyway, Imperial Gunnery. I still want her to have 2 Hellstorm rocket batteries because while we can't give her Amethyst units, we can give her some units. Anyway, you would be... Oh, you're immune to attrition, eh? But I think you have to move here to be beside this guy. Can't move towards Elspeth as yet, but next turn or so. Lots of units to be transferred. Alrighty, and then Dolf, I guess you're just going to sit there for a turn? If we were to take these, look... Oh, you also have this. Well, we can transfer you Azag's territory, and assuming he doesn't get killed by then. Or then any of the territories up here for it once we take it for ourselves. Oh, we'll also need to have somebody knock out Grisguts, or these guys are going to get annoying. Oh, those rogue armies. Rascally rogue armies. Okay, Governor can stay there. Waldemar, you're still waiting for the recruitment, though we have reductions in recruitment now, which is nice. You. Build us some pikes, I guess. They're cheap. And we need something in Waldemar's army. I just want to get him moving as fast as we can. I don't know if he'll have pikes or halberds or a mix or whatever, but he'll need something to defend his artillery train. Von Blutten and Finlay. Also, I'm kind of tempted to just delete the spears because I'm not sure where we'd take them. We could just re-recruit them elsewhere as needed. I also did want to split this guy's army, but we have nowhere nearby, unless I'm mistaken, where we could, just to double check, get significant amounts of military recruitment. It's pretty far. Honestly, I'm kind of starting to be tempted to just kind of keep his army as it is. If we take in the Vanguard, we would get missile resistance for the melee infantry and upkeep reduction and then reload time. You know what? These guys have been with them for a while. They've leveled up a significant amount. Let's go military heritage, and then we'll combine pistol corps and on a steel. Leader of Renown is unfortunately useless, but these guys, the generals, aren't that point hungry, so we should be able to go to quartermaster. Pistol corps for you. Good enough, I think. Alrighty, and then at least 2 of them can be upgraded to great swords for now. Be a little bit more costly, we'll probably upgrade a few more. And you don't need these guys. Yeah, I think... I mean, granted, we probably don't need the Pistoliers here as well, though we could give them a couple of knights or something. But yeah, high ranks or not, you're costing us an unnecessary amount of cash right now. Wait. Well, delete the units. Do we need to recruit and ferry any of these guys over? Doesn't look like it. We got one more turn until another Wissenberg's Welcomers, which is great. You, I think we can now reset. I don't like Fearless either way, so this guy's just there to, you know, recruit and do stuff. Oh! Getting to rank 15 will allow us to get the Time of Peace decree, which is a construction cost and construction time, more importantly, decree, which is nice. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. It might come in handy. Anyway. Who's next? Alright, I didn't actually move you, did I? You know what? We can send you into the mountains. Fight some orcs. Go through Heffingen. Also, Theodoric von Blutten, did I make you a... Yes, you are currently the Elector Count of Averland, ironically because Marius Leitdorf should be, but we made him the Elder of the Moot instead. This gives you casualty or punishment and growth for all provinces. Oh, it's basically just a sort of generalist. It doesn't really do anything in terms of buffing him, so that's fine. It's all good. And we can keep that on him for now. Elspeth is fine. Gosse is going to now move back towards the coastline.
To strengthen the empire.
Out of here. I mean, I did want to get this, but I also don't want to... Well, I guess we could... Wait. Since this place is no longer getting... Also, I'm just thinking we go here, but anyway, I'd rather you go around. I don't like that place. The mountain pass in general. You stay here. Gelty! Alright, so Mr. Black Buckthorn has moved away. You can just do the same thing and grab this Remnants of Battle as well. And you've got to keep recruiting for Gelt. And there we go. Oh! Huh. And what we could also do... Oh, this guy's gonna grab Broken Tooth Camp. I wonder what these guys are willing to offer for it. Out of curiosity. Broken Tooth Camp, are they still poor? Do they have money to give us now? 5,000! Alright, for a territory that we don't really care about or want, I think that's not so bad. It's kind of on the way to bankrupting Teclis, but I'd rather bankrupt the elves, and you know what? This is what you get for not teaching humans to high magic. Everything that's happened is kind of his fault, but anyway, if you really delve into what happened, if humans had proper access to high magic, maybe the end times wouldn't happen. Can Teclis be blamed more than Manfred? I don't know, you tell me. Anyway, I don't think we want the military alliance with them as yet. I don't want to get into a bunch of random additional wars, so we can do that later. You can just have Broken Tooth Camp. And he has enough wars going on without our... Yeah, but yeah, just let him do his own thing. Wolfram Frankenwerder, we'll do this. I just want Gelt to be able to move. We can recruit other stuff for him. Let's do conscription on you. There we go. That completes those, and then we will start moving towards Gelt and then meet up back here. Gelt, you're going to grab the Sunmaker for yourself. Recruit, yes. And you're going to grab this island as well. And, ooh, I forgot to do a thing. Wait. Well, I guess it'll be extra XP for this guy. I was going to reset him, so, yeah. Oh, 2 islands here. But it is near to Krusha Butlika. Go for... Do we need the help in battle? Maybe. It's just a small army. That's not a bad one. A little amount of money. Anyway, what I wanted to do was take you, Gold Wizard, and reset you. Since you're apt, we're going to make you the ultimate tech thief. We need more tech thievery going. Alright, so that was Gelt, and that was one of his delivery guys. Tech thieves. Specialist into steel tech. Fairly far away from this. You go for Toran Rock again. 75, getting better. Still a failure. Still you somehow managed to fail. Volkmar Scout, you are near the end of your long journey to find the Cult of Sigmar, which admittedly we've already found, but we still need you to see them or else we can't confederate them, which will become available next turn. Did you not fail? You did not fail. Good job, unlike the other guy. And unlike the first guy that immediately died. But it was funny, so... You know, I'm conflicted. Save your points, because there's nothing else to do. And speaking of nothing else to do, I believe that's all the moves we need to make this turn. And we just gotta keep waiting on our armies to get ready. We'll allow Dolph Hartvigens to heal. Does he want to channel, however? That might help him out a bit. Certainly. Now we're ready to build buildings and end the turn. Alright, everything's going positive public order-wise. Palisbert, we're going to switch you back to Council of Burgomeisters as you're about to go into Tier 4. And Drakvald... It's gonna keep bothering me unless we do the... Wait, do we have... We do have Zealous Priest, Bruiser, and Guardian. Okay, not the ones I want, unfortunately. In fact, you know what? Let's check Heroes. This is a good time for it. Alright, we got the Hazard Technician, the Ballistic Plating on Lord. I do want one of these guys in Mordheim. Let's get Ballistic Plating. And you're gonna pop into Dolph's army. He's gonna need you. Ugh, level 1. Okay, that's... it's gonna take you a long time to level, sir. But it is what it is. Alright. Back to checking heroes. We need to check Empire captains. We can't do anything about wizards, and we have no capacity for captains. Though I do want those champions. Alright, well, back to building then. Since there's nobody else to check. You're okay. You are okay-ish. I mean, we could upgrade this, but it's so expensive right now, and I think I'd rather just pop you back into Imperial Taxation. There's nothing else to upgrade to Tier... Well, actually, you will need to be upgraded to Tier 4. Am I going to forget? You know what? I'm going to forget. I'm just going to not swap that out. I'd rather save the money. Although, funnily enough, would it actually... Well, yeah, it'll probably save us a bit of cash. We'll get back to it eventually. Anyway, Altstad, you are fine. Ooh, land ships. Next turn. Beautiful. Alright, ooh, yes, Wiedebach. Yes to the Tailor's Guild, yes to the adjacency via the paved roads. Sino and Zutzen are fine, however. Middenheim Road. Nothing important to build other than the town, which is important, admittedly. Aberheim. Paved roads. We could use another gunsmith/forge and probably some Sigmarite temples, and we'll get to those shortly. Ooh, yes, Aelhart, definitely upgrade the toll gates, and you will also build the wizard and the forge next turn, but otherwise I think we're pretty much out of money. Ooh, Grunberg, yes to the lumberyard and yes to the paved roads. Public order is also okay. Alright, and that's it for the cash. So skip unassigned skill points, and we did diplomacy, so let's end the turn. Now let's see if these guys dare to attack Elspeth. You know what, let's level you as well. I've been neglecting you for a bit now. We are the elite, probably not ready for it, but do it anyway. As in the army's not ready for it. Might as well get Black Powder, Discipline, and Mark of Kish just so I don't have to look at them constantly. Laboratory's still terrible, and I don't know why you got fleet-footed, but that's fine. End turn. Vlad will indeed decide to attack by himself without another army. Seems foolish to me, tremendously foolish, but perhaps he knows something we don't. Let's find out. Oh, actually, before we start, engagement threshold reached. Wait, did I already say this episode? Well, either way, reached. Long episode, yes. 500 likes, 70 comments. Next episode, long. Good, go.
The enemy feels themselves indestructible. None will disabuse them of this falsehood.
Alrighty, here we go. I always get a kick out of seeing Elspeth in a cinematic since her own campaign got bugged eventually with the desyncs. Well, at least her own army due to those amethyst units. But anyway, let's see how we do here. We got Vlad himself and a few solid elite units. Plus, this is kind of an interesting position we found ourselves in. The enemy is going to arrive over on this side of the map, protected by mountains and forests, such that we can't really use our artillery. On top of that, it's going to take a long time to reposition them to get any use out of this sort of firing line, to clear position on the map. And that should make the battle a little bit more difficult. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off with the Spirit Leech on the Master Necro, who will immediately use an invocation of Nehek. Will that help him out, however? Probably not so much, as the Carmine Dragon will use its breath and immediately kill the fragile Necro with a single use of it. Pretty darn strong, but at least in part because the enemy Necro was on a horse and was thus a bigger target and easier to hit for Elspeth. 2, being fragile, and 3, not moving at all. Could have at least partially tried to dodge it. Anyway, Arvisenberg's welcomers are moving on in. Of course, with the now that they have buffs, whether it be in this army and the other, those grenades are flying a lot faster than they did when they made their debuts. And these things are proven to be pretty darn effective. But, you know, grenade units have a tendency to be, especially as the AI has a tendency to spam infantry. But again, that does tend to make sense, especially for the undead, but just generally speaking. For pretty much every single faction. Alright, grenades are going to tear through those zombies. Going to take a while, admittedly, but, well, they've got plenty of ammo with that restock available, and we've got a decent bit of time to waste until Vlad and Isabella and their army arrives on the field. And Elspeth was covering over the ghosties and the crypt ghouls, just making sure that they're visible. the dragon looks kind of funny walking uphill like that. What was I saying? That distracted me a little bit. Anyway, Elspeth was spotting these guys just so that they don't surprise our army by heading through the field. And ooh, there we go. Looks like Vlad has arrived. We'll leave the rest of our army to kill off the ghosties and whatever we have while we get ready for an aerial duel with Isabella and Emmanuel Posner up in the sky. And ooh, right, gotta remember that the Vamps do have a fairly decent advantage of an aerial combat, as they do have Storm of the Night available to them, which does a fair bit of damage and significantly reduces Elspeth's speed. So she's just going to have to sit there and duel Isabella. With a few bats as well. Fortunately, Elspeth does have a fair bit of buffs available to her, even with, Master Beguilement minus 50 melee attack, meaning she's not doing damage that way. But as powerful as the Carmine Dragon is, it's the spell work, the constant Spirit Leeches, and Elspeth's other abilities, and that will probably enable us to do more damage. Here comes the Black Coach heading directly towards us, but I mean, yeah, you probably shouldn't directly charge a line of Null Ironsides in that manner. It just doesn't work all that well. And, Emmanuel Posner is giving chase to our engineer, who's backing off, but that's probably no better an idea than it was to charge forward with the Black Coach. Isabella looks to be out of the picture herself. She did manage to dish out decent bits of damage to Elspeth, who's dropped by about 30% HP, but she has regeneration. She has the Death's Timekeeper, that ability that heals her and damages enemies. So I'm thinking she'll be good. Another Storm of Night going to come in from Vlad himself, who's leading the rest of his army, including his Blood Knights, towards us. Making me want to play vampire counts again. Every time I see them. Alright, here comes another Carmine Dragon Breath, and it looks like it'll only clip Vlad, but it'll still do about half of his damage. His HP isn't actually all that high, 5.5k, compared to... I guess it's because he's a Footlord and doesn't have a mount, compared to Mr. Franz, who has, I believe, 11,000 HP currently. And there we go. We got Vlad down to about 90% of, or 10% of his HP, but one of his items will activate the Von Karstein Ring, making him invulnerable and giving him unbreakable as well. So he's not going to melt away, but at least we have forced him to use the item long before he reaches our battle line. Speaking of reaching our battle line, we've got the Vargeists that were able to move on in, but they got sniped mostly by the range units and then promptly got ridden down by the Knights of the Black Rose. Alright, and it looks like we have managed to move our artillery into position, and they are getting shots off, the targeting of the cannons against the Blood Knights, and of course the rocket batteries against whatever Graveguard they can reach. Vlad is lost the Von Karstein Ring now, or at the very least the ability is no longer up and running. And those poor Blood Knights. Did you not see what happened to Emmanuel Posner and that Black Coach? It looks like they are taking a fair few more hits. They are a fairly tanky unit after all, but eventually they will fall. There you go. Oh, lovely. And it looks like as soon as the Blood Knights melt, so does Vlad as well. One last Spirit Leech or whatever other ability hit him will bring him down. He had a little enough healing available to him, and I don't remember if Blood Drinker can actually activate its regeneration when he's outside of melee. I'm not sure that it can, so that's another sort of a little bit of healing that he was missing out on. Anyway, still plenty of undead to work our way through. We're going to have our Burning Head activate from our, well, from the item that the engineer is holding. And it looks like the balance of power has shifted to 100% in our favor, and the enemy is beginning to melt away at this point. Just a matter of time now. The enemy is still rushing our lines. But of course the Null Ironsides with their suppression will slow the enemy down a fair bit, and the Vortex probably won't be helping matters either. Those poor Crypt Ghouls. The main issue here, I think, for Vlad is that because his army came in as a reinforcement, the AI has a tendency to charge reinforcing forces directly at the player's army. This is a major issue because it then doesn't employ its units, like the Black Coach, like the Blood Knights, like the Crypt Ghouls, on the flanks where it should have, and this allowed them to get shot up. Well, and of course, Elspeth essentially countering all the vampires by killing them before they reached the battlefield in a very different manner, perhaps, than Karl Franz would have, but no less entertaining, I'd wager. Alright, not sure whether, once again, Vlad knows something that we don't, but, well, it is what it is. He was not able to easily deal with the counter of his faction, essentially, that Elspeth offers here. Their mastery of the lure of death put most of his army in the grave, though, of course, the AI has the best luck with the Dead Rise, so his Necromancer, Vlad himself, although that's fair, Isabella, the Blood Knights, and the Black Coach, all the most expensive and elite units, with, I guess, the exception of the Vargeist, which are less important and less effective than all those guys, are still around. Of course, the Crypt Ghouls and the most basic stuff was mostly gone, but even then, a lot of it survived. Huh. Actually, a suspicious amount of the Dead Rose here, like half of the army? I wonder about I don't remember what the percentages are supposed to be, but I guess it doesn't matter over much anyway. This enables us does not replenish enemy territory, eh? I guess we could take the tiny amount of cash then. Well, yeah, take the tiny amount of cash. And, dude, what are you doing? You should have attacked with Vlad. Why would you? Okay. Okay, I mean, I feel like there's no need to fight this again. It's just, I mean, it's just a much weaker army than Vlad's. I am a little bit concerned about how much damage this is going to do to us, but not that much. At this time, oh, wow, it's 3k? Man, but we're going to have to fight them again, so I guess we'll heal. Though salty I am about the 3k. Too bad we still don't have that Nemesis Crown seal thing that allows us to replenish in this territory, but oh well.
We owe our safety to Sigmar.
Alright, Gelta now has unlocked the Staff of Voland's quest, which we will do as soon as we, well, can get his army together. While succeeds, good for army. You are going to go here. Broken Axe, Scepter of Stability, Gleaming Pennant, Undeath, a Descendant, hit points plus 5% for Elspeth. Oh, I forgot that this gives you hit points. Maybe I should have sent Karl down here. He could also use a massive amount of hit points. How long would it take him to get to, way too long. Okay, we're not waiting for that. Sorry, Karl. You can go kill Throt the Unclean and get, I want to say, 10% hit points? Something like that. Throt has a good defeat rate as well. Another Woodsman is also nice. Ready for duty, somebody. Governor Billings? No, Governor Billings. You do not need a Pegasus. Why would you need a Pegasus to govern? Don't be silly. And neither do you, Hertzella. Alright, he has a good... At least they're leveling, though, and that is a tremendously good thing. Alright, next up, Elspeth. Now, you could chase down and destroy Vlad's army. Forget... Oh, wow, it's completely full HP now. And, that's annoying. And they're gonna take... If we go into ambush stance, we will not be able to go beside it. At least I don't think so. It also means we still can't take Schwarzhofen in order to deal with this. Alright, fine. I knew I should have gone for Oak and Hammer. I definitely screwed that one up. Alright, go here. Into our own territory. We'll hit Boyle right... Watch him sack Horn now. Well, if he does, he does. Let's upgrade Schrammleben then. And then ignore the rest. And we will also get the Weaving House and I guess the Tap Room here, at least for now, though that will hopefully change. I'm not going to invest... Well, actually, we'll do that. Just do it. If he attacks it, he attacks it. I'm willing to risk it. Okay, then you are going to have to go around, and you're going to suffer attrition here? Why? Vampiric Corruption's at 36. In fact, I think next turn you won't suffer attrition, so you should be good. You're gonna sit here, continue sitting here until we're ready to deal with that. And go around the Skaven. You, I guess, are going to then besiege Waldenhof, which means you should probably attack this guy and book it on out of there. Alright, you are at war with Sylvania and allied with Clan Creepus. Okay, well. Kill this. Declare war. Don't call allies to help.
You're overruled. Cease.
You are going to run, and that's not surprising. Try. Oh, okay, yeah, move really far. Hopefully we can still escape. Ooh, I don't like it, but maybe. This should be auto-resolvable because it's just garbage, yes. Oh no, not skeleton spears. And yeah, our ogres got hurt, but it is what it is. Oh. I mean, we don't really care about the regular ogre bulls. We can get them from other armies and such. I'm just going to pardon captives, and if the ogre bulls should die to attrition, that's their problem. You're gonna go here.
This will bolster the nation.
And we should look for Goldtooth to ally with him as well, so that we get his units available. I want ogre units as well. I like how so many different factions work nicely with the Empire. It's just great. Anyway, you, Gavin, are going to besiege Waldenhof. And how do you have Siege Attacker? What's giving you Siege Attacker? Oh, wait, has this guy leveled up to Griffin level? Yes, he has. No, he has not. Wait, then what's giving you Siege Attacker? This is a walled settlement. Yes, yes it is. No, I'm just curious. I must know to what we owe Siege Attacker. Yeah, is it me or do I not see Siege Attacker here? Maybe it's not. Oh, okay. I'm just stupid, guys. Don't worry. Yeah. Okay, that was embarrassing. Let's continue. Let's see. You need to level up the Halberdiers and the Knights. So that's Strength of Hardship, that's Stand Your Ground, and that is Taste for Battle. You, because there's a decent likelihood these guys get attacked next turn. You have to move through this. I do like the Curse of Anric here, though. We should probably at least get the... We Yeah, fine. Get 2 points in it and grab the mark of Kish, I guess. Alrighty, what about you two? You're level 15. You've gone through for the cause, and then I forget, you went for the cause as well. Alright, let's get you. I'm going to lead these guys, and thus you're not going on a Pegasus, you're going on a Barded War Horse, because you're supposed to lead them. And then we should probably get We Are the Elite and Retinue Trainer before anything else. Oh, actually, you know what? I like this summoning of the Officer Squad. Let's get Remember Your Training to buff everybody up. Don't care about Regiment of Renown because it's terrible. Unless you're recruiting, which you're not wasting your limited Empire Captain capacities on. Officer Squad. And there you go. You. We Are the Elite. You have Officer Squad. Good. And you will want to go Esteemed Combatant. Also when defending. Huh. Between Remember Your Training and Esteemed Combatant with a few units of Empire Captains, you can get a significant power up when defending, which is kind of neat. Replenish troops for you for obvious reasons. We also want Shield of Faith and probably want to move towards Retinue Physician as fast as we can. So ignore Soul. Well, I mean, we can't get it yet anyway. Go through Retinue Valet, move towards Retinue Physician. All right, Gavin's ready. You're ready. We'll try to take Oakenhammer, trade it to Zufbar, hopefully before this guy gets here. And because then they'll take it. And we'll want to maybe trade it for either Essen or Fishital if we can do so. Alright. Back to everybody else. I was doing that all out of order again. What do we have in terms of defenses here? They're actually fairly minimal. I'm wondering whether you would be able to... Oh. I think we'd have to besiege it because we can't cross to the other side. It kind of blocks it off. I wonder if they'd be willing to sally out. I guess we could give it a shot. You are currently at war with the Great Orthodoxy and these guys. I'm willing to bet that they're not willing to trade this settlement to us. Castle Lancaster. Lancaster, rather. Wait. You're not able to trade this to us at all because of HOCHLAND. Oh, that might change if we confederate HOCHLAND. Actually, speaking of confederation. Alright, let's take a quick look at some stuff. Minus 104, because that's not happening. A Hunts Marshal's Expedition, still no dice, eh? Where's Volkmar's scout? He's not near yet, is he? Volkmar's scout? No. Oh, wow, you are still like a... okay, it's gonna be a while before we get Volkmar. Meaning, if we want to confederate, it'll probably be better to confederate one of the Elector counts now. Now, HOCHLAND would give us the Gunderman's Surefires, which I wanted in several armies, which is good. The Elector count of HOCHLAND gives us campaign movement range for all armies as well, which I think then is probably the pick. It's a pretty solid... Generally speaking, gives us campaign line of sight, upkeep production for missile troops in his own HOCHLANDer army, which makes sense, and yeah, I don't dislike it. Alright, I think we do HOCHLAND then. And yeah, the contiguity with our empire suffers to some degree because it... Okay, we have a tiny border from here to here. We got contiguity, people, it's all good. So yeah, HOCHLAND it is. Plus maybe it'll make it easier to not have them rebel constantly at Brass Keep and such, with our bonuses to public order. He has 2 stacks that we're going to have to deal with, and hey, he's got a couple of Knights of the Blazing Sun. He's got at least 1 unit of Gundermans. Just the 1, though, unfortunately. Most of that stuff's going to have to be deleted. Yeah, you know what? Here's what we'll do. I will... Where are you? Where's HOCHLAND? Unify HOCHLAND. 3,000... Oh! This, the cost of this increases? I didn't realize that. That's not good. It's gonna get expensive, isn't it? But it is what it is. Perform. Alrighty, now. Settlement receives plague, settlement receives plague. We've got this stuff. I will do this. I just want to check one thing. Master Engineer, Metallurgist, and Opticus. Still not the ones we want. We didn't get a engineer from these guys, did we? No, and... No, okay. I'm going to take a look at these. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a quick cut here just to do the admin of this because it's going to be me thinking about what we want to get rid of and looking at everybody's traits and stuff, so be right back. You know, I started to delete stuff and deleted one little army here, and then I realized, you know what? We could actually use these guys, because we were going to ask this faction, the Tsaryavshina, to join the war, as in they give us money so that we attack the Creeping Death. But if they're at war with the Creeping Death and we aren't, we can ask the Creeping Death to join war against these guys, bypassing the defensive alliances of the various Kislev factions, and allowing us to put Aldebrand, Ludenhof, and this little army to good use before deleting them. So, we will join your war for 2,000 gold against the Tsaryavshina, like so. And this is going to make a lot of our allies very upset, but again, it is unfortunately the nature of the game for the Empire, where we have to retake our imperial territories. Now, this means Ludenhof can move on in. We're going to pop in the Ergig Jaeger Corps into his army, as they're going to be a big part of it. And, I mean, yeah, Gunderman Surefires should be in their army as well, even though I have other armies where I want Gunderman Surefires, actually several armies where I want Gunderman Surefires, like the Nordland Mariners, probably one of the, and the Noble Sons Abroad, the units of Elector Count state troops where we'll want to use them. But anyway, at least this way we'll get the, wow, 2,000 each? Damn, that's expensive, but what can you do? At least this way we can get this up and running very quickly, the HOCHLANDer army, I mean. It also makes sense because Gunderman Surefires are a Drakewald unit, but as in not Drakewald province, but the Drakewald wood, or Drakewald. You gotta remember that this forest is really, really big. It goes all the way to the edge of HOCHLAND right here, and so it makes sense for HOCHLAND, who's famed for its hunters and archers and long rifles, and is kind of a, I don't know, sort of backwards province, at least technologically,
Into battle!
to have all the best huntsmen, but perhaps not artillery and stuff like that. Anyway, we're gonna attack you like this, and I mean, we can bring the other army in tow just in case. Oh, I forgot that we have the Knights of the Blazing Sun. I don't particularly like any of the traits on these lords, but the Empire captains here have the perfect traits, which is the Stand Your Ground trait and the Champion trait. That said, we're gonna use Baldric Stroham here, who we just summoned, to lead the army, because it's going to, or lead the HOCHLANDer army, because it's going to make use of Rangers, or huntsmen rather, in combination with the various HOCHLANDer units, and also I'm thinking a few Wood Elf units, because, you know, hunters and Wood Elves, and forests and Wood Elves, and maybe some Wolfkin. Probably some Wolfkin. And we could probably use Flagellants until we get the Wolfkin, because I don't think we can recruit them here because we don't have the building. But anyway, Wolfram Blaze, you're gonna move in like this, and this will allow Karl to be right at the edge of Wolfenburg province, but it'll allow him to move down here without having to deal with this, which is ideal. Alright, we'll send him down to Wurtzen. There we go. Alrighty. And we are going to attack you then. Yes? Yes. And time to put the Ergig Jaeger Corps and the Gundermans and the Knights of the Blazing Sun into action against Kislev. Go. Alright, here we go. It's always a shame to see the shield of civilization fracture as the human empires fight against each other, but that's just human nature, I suppose, and historically the empire has clashed with Bretonnians and with Kislevites, perhaps not so much in gigantic battles as the like invasions of chaos, but individual elector counts especially. And obviously where there are sort of borders, there tend to be some issues, like in Ostermark, for example. I believe there's problems with piracy, and that includes Kislevite piracy as well, unless I'm mistaken. But anyway, I digress. We've got a reinforcing army coming in with 1 billion huntsmen. We don't, I mean, they're not the best units, admittedly, but they are anti-large, and the enemy has a lot of those Kosovo dervishes, which are going to be a lot stronger in SFO than they are in vanilla. I mean, while they have effectively no armor, 58-45 are pretty darn solid stats for a light cav unit, so they can certainly fight in melee. Can they fight in melee well enough to take on Myrmidia's Knights of the Blazing Sun? Well, that remains to be seen. And you gotta love these guys. They look absolutely fantastic with that black and gold armor that they've got, and of course the glowing lances as well. You can't beat the Empire for aesthetics amongst the human nations. Anyway, the enemy is still moving towards us. We've damaged 1 unit of Kislevite warriors with the huntsmen. I was hoping to do a little bit more damage to the dervishes instead, but it looks like the enemy smartly backed them off rather than allowing us to make good use of our anti-large. This is also the debut of the Ergig Jaeger Corps right here. Specialist HOCHLAND long rifles, and of course the regular HOCHLAND or the Gunderman Surefires as well. They'll hopefully work nicely together, and you gotta remember that the Gundermans also have stagger shot on them so that they'll slow the enemy down. Anyway, enemy is going to charge on forth towards our huntsmen. We're going to countercharge them as the Knights of the Blazing Sun head directly towards those units of Kosovo dervishes. Unfortunately, the faster light cav will get a charge through our huntsmen and do a decent little bit of damage. All the while, of course, suffering damage from our range firepower, and we can see getting obliterated by the charge of the Knights of the Blazing Sun. I mean, you can see that the Kosovo dervishes actually have significantly better melee attack and melee defense stats by 13 and by 5 than the Knights of the Blazing Sun, but the Knights have twice as much charge bonus and 119 armor, while the dervishes only have 11 armor piercing damage and no anti-large bonuses. So despite the superior melee defense and attack stats, they get absolutely wrecked here. And they are still Kosovo dervishes. I mean, they're fragile. Kislev light cavalry is generally kind of pretty darn meh. Especially coming from an Empire standpoint, who has fantastic light cavalry. But anyway, looks like the Kosovo dervishes still milling around in numbers. There's plenty more where that came from, and of course we also have some monsters moving in. The things in the woods. There's a snow leopard and the Kosovite archers as well. Still trying to back off the remnants of those first units of huntsmen, but not to worry, we've got plenty more where that came from as the reinforcements are arriving on the battlefield. We're going to move the other huntsmen behind the HOCHLAND long rifles. Okay, there they are. I thought for a second that they weren't firing, but I think the huntsmen are just sort of in their way. Want to see these guys fire off a shot while we continue engaging the enemy? And at least the huntsmen will be able to sort of stand behind the range lines and fire over their heads. Which is going to be a nice combination, as that's exactly what the combination that we'll use in the Hochlander army. Anyway, we've surrounded the enemy Snow Leopard here with our 3 lords and heroes. Well, technically we have 4, but there's 3 of them on a mount, 1 a lord and 2 captains. And it looks like the Snow Leopard is just about done. It does look like, however, our Knights of the Blazing Sun have been taking a fair bit of damage and are going to have to back off. Heck of a cavalry sort of clash in the midst of the battlefield, though. I'm loving it. It's elites, or relative elites, I should say, versus pure numbers here. But we will have to back off eventually, as the enemy does have a fair bit of range available to it as well, and that's certainly something to watch out for. Things in the woods, one of them has been severely damaged and has backed off, and the other one is in the process of attempting to charge us, but fortunately, our newly arrived reinforcing army will help out against that. Those huntsmen should be able to focus them down, and a little bit of help from the General of the Empire, who has taken 2 arrows to the back of the neck. We'll be seeing them off. I wonder if we can get a couple of things in the woods for a Hochlander army rather than an Ostermark army. That's an option as well. I was thinking wood elves, but I think a couple of things in the woods wouldn't go amiss. We could maybe combine a couple of things in the woods with some Ulrich units. From Wolfkin. I'll give it some thought. Well, we got a little bit until we can access Kislevite units anyway, so not a huge deal at this time. Anyway, the things in the woods are going to be backing off now. Gonna get a few more parting shots from our Free Company militia, our huntsmen, and our Gundermans and Hochlanders. The mortars, of course, continue to lob shells at the enemy, and at this point are focusing down the enemy range units in particular. As I've said before, well, not in this campaign, but fighting the Kislevites is often the by our blood ability that makes them unbreakable for 30 seconds often works against them and in the favor of the player, because when the Kislevites lose because of it, it means that their units stay in combat for a much longer time rather than run away, which means you have time to actually obliterate more of them. Which is not so great for the AI. And it makes it easier to then hunt them down afterwards or completely destroy armies, generally speaking. Anyway, our units of Empire Captain and Lord have taken a fair bit of damage due to all the enemy range units running around, and of course fighting the enemy Boyar. And I guess that's Snow Leopard and the other stuff, but otherwise the balance power has shifted to about 90% in our favor, and the battle is nearly ours. Here we have Kislevite warriors facing off against halberds, but the warriors are very decent tar pit, but they're not going to win in the halberd against the halberdiers, I'd wager. Greater numbers aside, and especially with all of the range we still have available to us. Landing the occasional shot into the Kislevite warriors. Once again, a shame to see the old human conflict, but it won't last long. We'll definitely either peace out with this faction, or or it will just get confederated by one of the other Kislevite factions. If they only held like one territory, I wouldn't have minded, but they're in the midst of two territories, and we can't have that. No way. Anyway, just a little bit more. Ooh, looks like we've got another Knights of the Blazing Sun, having found another enemy units of range, and unlike the Kossovite dervishes, the Kossovite archers will have an even worse time of this. And again, because of By Our Blood, they'll probably stick in battle longer than they should. I'm just really enjoying watching the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Not to worry, guys, they're going to be on field with their own, out of their own chapter house soon enough. That'll be the Talabekland army. Oh, they actually have Myrmidia on their shields. I never noticed that. But it obviously makes sense. In the same way that most of our other units will have Sigmar on their shields. I wonder if Reikland... I gotta take another look at the Reiksguard Knights, because the Reiksguard are a secular order. But, I mean, secular order or not, they might very well still have Sigmar all over the place. It would certainly make sense. Karl does have a big old Sigmar, I think, emblazoned on his on Deathclaw on his griffin. Anyway, with that, the Kislevites will shatter at last, but they gave us a fight, including the Knights of the Blazing Sun, both of which suffered about 80% of their HP and damage, though only lost about a third of their units, meaning they'll recover to 2/3 HP. Admittedly, they had a lot of combat in this particular battle, which gave them a pretty darn fantastic little debut. They won't be able to catch those guys, but I just wanted to see them riding forth one more time before we get their army. Alright, there we go. A really fun fight against Kislev. That was a lot of Kossovite dervishes, and our Knights of the Blazing Sun debuted by taking them all on and carrying the day. Very nice. HOCHLAND may not have the chapter house of Myrmidia, which is in Talabekland, but well, we'll be seeing the Knights of the Blazing Sun in decent numbers soon. 24, 21, 18, and 24k on our units of Gunderman Surefires and the HOCHLAND long rifles, or the Ergig Jaeger Corps specifically. I might reduce this to 2 Gundermans, because we also want a bunch of HOCHLAND long rifles in this army, plus a bunch of huntsmen, and we need room for other things, essentially. But anyway, Dragonbane Gem I don't really care for, so we're going to turn it into hopefully something useful. Occupy the place, which will complete the territory, like So, cancel the Burgomeisters. Yeah, the Nurgle corruption is falling, but we do still have this plague. Alright, fine. We're gonna have to set up Sigmarite Dogma, at least for now, and lose the Dragonbane gem, sir. You don't need it. Alrighty, Middle Mountain secured, enemy killed in battle, and you guys will sort of stick together, I guess, for now. Until you're ready to transfer troops and then delete half of your army, so that HOCHLAND's army can rise. Bruckner, you're actually going to... Let me just think about what the best way to do this is. I just had a realization, and I think Karl won't actually have room for any steam tanks, unfortunately, because assuming that we replace these two Imperial Foot with Teutogan Guard, and then the Halberdiers with the Royal Aldorf Griffites, the Empire Knights will become Reichsguard. There is literally nothing else. There's no space. I mean, Karl has a pretty diverse army, generally speaking, but I don't think there's anything we can lose here. Okay, well, that means we'd have to deliver the tanks somewhere else. Do the HOCHLANDers want a tank with them? I mean, I'm sure... No, it doesn't feel right for HOCHLAND. What about the Nordlanders? No, they'd have the land ships. You know what? Fine, we're going to deliver this tank this way then. Boris Botch, you're going to reposition and go this way instead. Ow. And please don't pick up the plague on the way. Oh, it'll be a 5-turn plague if you do. My bad, man. You are going to go this way. You have to deliver the Grand Cauldron regulars to the Nordlanders, who are up here. Speaking of the Nordlanders... Theodric Gosser, start making your way down here. None of this is going to go into Jürgen Wagner's army, but we may have use for... Oh, I just realized something. Wait. Yes, I almost forgot about you. Almost got me again, game. The Ostermark, we just by destroying Draca, we've completed Ostermark. Yes. Meaning we want to make an Ostermark army. Now, Ostermark is Knights of the Everlasting Light. Yes, Knights of the Everlasting Light. Huh. Okay. How do we want to combine the... What kind of army will they have? Now, Ostermark's kind of an interesting imperial province. They're in a position wherein they have a lot of Kislevites in them, whether it be Kislevite refugees or just generally intermingling due to the sharing of the borders. Plus, to their south, they have Sylvania, which means that they basically have to deal with both of those things, meaning we'll want to maybe get some Kislevite auxiliaries in their army and then combine that with some witch hunters. Knights of the Everlasting Light makes sense as well for them. We can't recruit anything else here directly, though, so we can probably start recruiting the Everlasting Light army here in Adgig as well. Although, what's the closest place that's also capable of recruiting units? Actually, funnily enough, if we give them these guys, make them into great swords, that'll work out reasonably well as well. You know what? Here's what we'll do. You, Grandmaster. We'll do the armor pedigree again. You're going to have Knights of the Everlasting Light, and you will thus be the Elector Count of... What's your name? Henry von Wolfen. Man, von Wolfen family is doing real good in this campaign. Lots of them running around. There we go. This gives you Troll Cleaver. The Ostermark Runefang gives you bonus versus large plus 30, charge defense versus large in area. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And then you're going to have Knights of the Everlasting Light in numbers, plus some great swords. We'll need witch hunters for ya. Do we... What's our witch hunter capacity? Can we actually build them anywhere? I don't think... the AI didn't really build any tier 3 taprooms. Do we have any tier 3 taprooms anywhere? If I upgraded a single taproom past tier 2, it's a distinct... Okay, we have one here. We have one Witch Hunter. Range, spell resistance reduction. Banish ain't bad. Ardent Seeker, no. Grizzled Executor, no. I guess we could do Ghost Hunter. That kind of makes sense. Might be faster to just upgrade one of these somewhere here, though, and build them there. Let's do that, I guess. What's the closest place? Asino... Well, Zutzen, I guess? No, Zutzen's all the way back there. It's actually not that much closer. What about here? Okay, we have no taprooms there. We have no taprooms here. Well, we're about to get one here, but we won't be able to upgrade it to tier 3. And none here. Ah, okay. Well, I guess we could wait until Liska upgrades, but frankly, that's just just upgrade it, whatever. It's not a big deal. Wiedebach would also be a possibility. But anyway, if we got the HOCHLAND army rising, we've got the Ostermark army at least planned out, if not on the way. Then, now that we're at war with these guys, we don't care about these guys anymore. So they're currently at war with the Great Orthodoxy, who we will ask to join the war against the Creeping Death, and you will give us money for it. There's nothing that we want to get from you, is there? I think there is this territory, Weiler, but I don't think we can reach it right now. Alright, just do it. Hopefully we can trade them something for it later on. Now, Dolph, you're going to besiege Nagenhof.
They will surrender.
And Valiant Defeat, I don't see this being a Valiant Defeat. Oh, but I guess the Night Goblins being, hidden in stock is going to be the problem here. We need your upgrades. Sigmar's Ward, Mark of Hish. I guess we were trying to move towards extra powder, right? Ammunition for the army. I'm going to say yes. Go through requisition. We're going to need it. And then, oh, before I forget, we did summon a hero for you. That was this turn? Yes, indeed it was. Alright, so Dolph. And your wizard. What do we want to get next? We have Flaming Sword of Ruin maxed out, magical reserves. I'm still on the fence about Fire Wizard in this army. I mean, he's been doing well. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to land a Burning Head when there are no essentially battle lines because the enemy is perpetually moving and so are we, you know what I mean? You know what, start going through Studious Pupil, I guess. Yeah. And, ooh! Retinue at last. Alright, Witch Hunter Retinue for you. We'll see how these guys do, but we'll see a lot more of them in the Knights of the Everlasting Light / Ostermark army. Huh. You know what we should maybe do? Where are we here? For Ostermark. Yeah, I don't remember how to spell his name. It's Stefan von Kessel? Yes, I'm gonna double check what his name is actually spelled, like, if I remember to do so. Anybody played, before we had Total Warhammer 3, we had the Mark of Chaos series, or before we had, Total Warhammer, I guess. We had the Mark of Chaos series, which, sort of occupied, those of us obsessed with this type of game. The time between Shadow of the Horned Rat and Total Warhammer. That was a Mark of Chaos. I think it was in the, I want to say in the 2000s or something like that. But yeah, that one was pretty fun. And was very similar, but without the meta map of the Total Warhammer thing. But anyway, back to whatever I was doing. Dolph, you sit there. Theodric, I mean, you can reinforce, but then this guy's gonna be upsetty spaghetti, and then he won't want to play. I guess we want to... Let's send you southward this way for now. We might send you into the mountains instead of Dolph. I don't know, I'll think about it. You probably want to upgrade a few of these guys as well, so that you have a sort of variety of different types of troops. Probably want to actually keep a lot of the swordsmen in this army, but we'll need to buff up their... armor capabilities if we want to keep them around. I mean, they're basic tier 1 troops and they're so fragile, even with their stats upgraded. Definitely gonna need a couple of Empire captains in that army to make that thing work. Anyway, that's Dolph Gavin. That was the one that, yeah, okay, you're besieging. Jurgen, you are traveling up northward. Next turn, you can summon the Grand Cauldron Regulars. We've got governors, don't need to move. Waldemar Biber, you are waiting for the recruitment, and that has not changed. We want to take advantage of the recruiting surplus that we have over the next 2 turns. Balthazar Geld, you're kind of in the same position. I'd like you to go after the Sea Corps. This guy might declare war on us and try to kill you, but hopefully you'll be... Hopefully you'll be okay. Alright, success. Well done, Tech Thief. And you can go to Steel Tech. And, okay, who was after Gelt, incidentally?
Let us begin.
We just have Tech Thieves and stuff? Maybe. Alright, you. Specialist, Steel Tech, good. And Steel Tech. Alright, another success. Did you get to rank 10? Okay, not rank 10 yet, but you're getting there. Bruckner. Now you are going to join one of these armies. We're going to recruit the Demigriff Knights here. Probably not going to be able to get a lot since we don't have capacity yet, but we're getting there. And then Baldric Hart, you were supposed to join Elspeth's army. Yes? I think so. You're the champion, right? Yes, you are. Beautiful. Alright, so you can join Elspeth's army.
They'll be marching all right.
And then she can defend against this and hopefully take Hochenhammer. You know, it's funny. I made the mistake of going north and forgetting about Hochenhammer, but last episode somebody commented to grab Hochenhammer and trade it to Karakadrin, which is exactly what we need to do. Unfortunately, I only saw the comment this episode. I haven't, you know, I usually have the your guys' comments on the side here so that I can browse them during battle and during load times and during the end turns and all that sort of stuff, and I noticed it a little bit too late. But what can you do? What can you do? Anyway, what else do we need to do this turn? What can you do, Ruinous? And nothing unless I'm mistaken. So we got two things that we want to do then. You're still hurt, aren't you? Keep on backing off slightly this way. Alright, I would like to take a look at what we have here. So these guys would cost a decent amount of money. We could get the Knights of the Everlasting Light immediately, but waiting the turn probably won't change anything because we won't wait the full amount of turns to re-up their numbers. Whose siege equipment is this? Oh, build siege equipment, just in case. We do have siege attacker because of the steam tank in the army now, but, you know, just in case. What do we want to spend the 13k on? You know what I think we want to do? Let's get Ambassador to the Over Tyrant right now. And yeah, it'll be nice to finish supply wagons, but we'll do it next turn. The plague spreading. And the thing is, maybe do we wait on this for a turn? Fine, just wait on it for a turn. Alright, not a big deal. We have too many plagues and I want them to go away. Basically, we want to get some Wood Elf units and maybe some High Elf units. I think Gelt could go with some High Elf units, maybe. Some Silver and Guard for his melee line. Silver and Gold. Wouldn't be too bad. I'm not so sure that the Silver and Guard are going to be all that much better than our own units, but I think it'll be neat enough for our purposes. Plus, they do hit harder than Eldred's Guard or Spears by a fairly decent bit in terms of their weapon strength. And it's not like we have a lot of options out of the High Elves here. Shadow Warriors would also work with the Huntsmen, but I think the Wood Elves would work better for these sort of woodsy provinces. Anyway, I think that's it other than... Well, we can't summon the regulars now, so I'm almost tempted to save the money for next turn if we're going to summon a bunch of stuff. I mean, I guess we could start the cooldown on the Knights, but it won't make much of a difference. You know what? I think we'll just skip, outpost, skip, and end the turn. And let's see if these guys get immediately confederated. I hope they don't, but it's iffy. Underway interception for the poor rats. Mostly Skaven slaves here, so unfortunately for them, they don't get the honor of fighting Elspeth die.
I protect the Empire, either side of the blue.
And Snorko Old Weirdy will indeed attempt to attack Dolph Hertwigens, and, well, let's surprise those orcs and gobos with our steam tank. Go.
Schematics, and victory shall be ours!
Alrighty, here we go. Gonna have some fun with the orcs this time around. Let's see how Dolph's army handles them. Orcs should be a much less dicey proposition than Wood Elves. They don't have enough range, and the range that they do have is not that great, and is not long range either. On top of that, no artillery to concern us in this particular army. And tons and tons of relatively slow-moving infantry and cavalry, especially since this This particular army has boar boys, doesn't have those spider riders, which would be the major threat from an orky army, especially with the lethal poison that they have. Anyway, as usual, our outriders and our pistoliers have ridden forth and are going to annoy the enemy into moving towards our main line, whether it be the war wagons or the piles of Free Company militia. Really gotta have Mr. Gelt pick up Ackendorf and try to get that other Free Company militia unit. More state troops of the Free Company militia variety would be a nice thing to have. Anyway, we got our master engineer on that tank trundling forth, 74 move speed on him currently. So I think with the banner of swiftness that gives him that and Strider, he can function a lot more chariot-like than he would on the tank without the speed increase. Not quite to the degree of a land ship, of course, especially without the ability to fire in every direction, but we also have him lobbing those grenade shots from on top of the tank, and that works out pretty well. There we go. Nice to see that steam tank working. I'm gonna get a flame storm going in the background in the blob of enemies. So either they have to move through it, or they have to slow themselves down. Our Free Company militia are moving on in, and of course our war wagons are as well, though I probably shouldn't have had the war wagons block off fire from the Free Company. Especially since we are in danger of then killing off our own units. But the war wagons will back off shortly, I'm sure. All the while, it looks like the enemy was wise to the plan to some degree and will get some Snotling pump wagons and orc boar boys to actually get around us and hit us in the back on the right flank, which is a pretty good use. Very nice. Our pistoliers weren't able to knock out these units of boar boys fast enough. Not to worry though, we have repositioned our outriders and they're going to keep blasting those pigs and those orc boys with a little bit of help from the pistoliers as well. Yeah, really could use the stagger shot from the Noble Sons Abroad, so we'll definitely want to put a couple of them into this army to help out. Just the sheer combination of suppression on the Outriders and the Noble Sons Abroad stagger shot will be a nasty amount of slow. Dolph Hertwiggen still having a pretty darn good time on his steam tank. Things exploding. I mean, what do the orcs even do about this? I don't think they have any unit that can do anything about this other than the boar boys, and I think there's one unit left on the field? Or is that the last one? Either way, there ain't no stopping this steel behemoth. There we go, beautiful. A bit of a preview for what we will be seeing the land ships do shortly. Land ships are just so fun to play with as well, even if they are obnoxiously strong. At the very least when you micro them around to do this. Plus they have that ability that allows them to increase their speed for even more insane chariot charges while firing in all directions. Anyway, looks like the bounce power is at about 70% in our favor. Our Witch Hunter retinue is nearly done, but there's summoned units, so I was perfectly happy to let them sit there and take a hit from the Squig Herd here, which has dropped to about 40% of its HP and will now give chase to the Pistoliers through the woods. But they're not going to catch the Pistoliers, who will simply gun them down. There we go. With that, the Squig Herd turns back. How's Dolph doing, incidentally? 244 kills. Very nice. And 22,000 damage. Absolutely solid. While the rest of our army continues backing off, repositioning. Now the war wagons, of course, behind the Free Company militia, allowing everybody to fire. So far, I think we've taken very little damage to pretty much anybody. The most damage, I think, on this unit of Nordland Mariners that got charged in the back. And that, not that much. If you're wondering why they didn't take damage or significant damage from the boar boys and the pump wagons, it was because we gave them an emergency cascading fire cloak, which gives them an extra like 40 melee defense for the time that the spell is active, and is a really nice spammable spell in the fire lore. Cheap spell, I should say. Alright, Free Company militia still firing away as the Gobos attempt to charge us. The other reason that we have the tank moving out like a chariot essentially in front of the enemy army is that we don't want the Gobos hiding themselves and approaching our army ungunned down. Alrighty, and it looks like a little goblin big boss, or night goblin war boss rather, is attempting to give chase. Oh, wow. Alright, well, was attempting to give chase to the rest of our army, and it looks like the battle is pretty much ours. A few more shots from the tank. And with that, the enemy army is looking like they're just about ready to turn. Pistolier's still working in the background. Tank will trundle forward once more. It's going to be a long time until I get tired of seeing the tanks work. I definitely got to get some gyrocopters from the dwarfs as well for some mechanized action. Anyway, one lord remaining, and not for long. There we go. Melts away so fast, even the outriders didn't get a chance to fire. The damage was coming from the from the war wagons, the sniping war wagons, which are really good at delivering massive damage to single entities because of their huge missile strength. They otherwise do a lot of overkill damage on basic units, but against single entities, absolutely fantastic. And that's why we have the two types of war wagons: the grenades to knock out the droves of the hordes of gobos and the orcs, and then the regular ones to snipe single entities. Lovely. Looks like the battle is ours. Comparatively little damage, and I expect it's even less than it looks because, like, these guys have taken 20% of their damage, but have only lost 3 units and will recover nearly to full. Well done to Dolph. Alright, there we go. Nice fight, and no problem that time around. Our single steam tank actually outdamaged the mage in terms of pure havoc causing, acting as a chariot due to the speed and strider offered by that banner of swiftness. And it's a lovely thing to see. Got a free armor fortune for our trouble as well. Solid amounts of money and prestige. And well done once again to Dolph.
More trouble than they're worth.
Alrighty, income from sacking settlements. You know, I don't think that we're going to be doing that anytime soon. At least not until we push way out of the borders of the Empire. So, we'll give this a read. Our armies consist of noble state troops, and yet they act like a horde of free company. Oh, we already read that one. Punish them. Alright, supervisor for Elector. Fail begins outpost construction. Enemy killed in battle all over the place. And, yeah, it looks like these guys are reacting to what we're doing. Good for them, I suppose. Still, Karl, you're going to push to Wurtzen. The more and the faster that we take these guys' territories and give them to our allies, the better. Dolph, hold on to that armor of fortune. Auto-resolve this for obvious reasons. A little bit of damage and return to Elector. Lovely. Ooh, a militiaman. That'll come in handy as well, as will the Trickster's Shard. Karl, going to March Stance and then go to Wolfenburg. I doubt that these guys will attack you, but I guess we'll see. Chance of plague spreading and supply wagons. Good. Lubrecht. Alright, these guys really want to peace out. If we just take this one territory and then immediately peace out with them, we'll be happy. Hopefully before we rack up too much dislike from all of these. Oh. And we're still okay. It looks like that tech that we went for before doing that Ambassador to the Tsarina is working for us. Anyway, now we'll do Ambassador to the Ogre Tyrant. Which is an Ogre Tyrant. But anyway, the allegiance points and all of that is what we're after here. Yeah, these guys aren't at war. They're only at war with us. So you could be trying to move towards us. Let's find out if you are. Gosser. Like so. Alright, you guys. Who's Ralph Brandt again? Oh, this guy. Right. Alrighty, yeah, you're going north to deliver the Grand Cauldron regulars. I think it's time to summon them. I know that they're costly, and that we have stuff to build, but I'd like to get them I'd like to get the cooldown started, and I'd like to see what we have. So, anyway, let's do Grand Cauldron regulars, like so. Could have reduced them by 5% or whatever, but it's all good. Alrighty, and then we will still need, we'll need Nordland Mariners in here. Alright, okay, let's get everybody on cooldown, shall we? Alright, well, actually, technically, Okay, recruiter, you're gonna grab this guy here. The Wissenberg's welcomers. Yes. And then you'll transfer it as needed later on. You're still recruiting, and let's get you a couple more pikes for now. I'm not so sure that you're going to retain the pikes, but, well, you'll need something to defend you in melee, at least for now. And, ooh, yeah, we got one more turn left of recruiting surplus. We gotta put it to good use. We're at 17, actually 16 out of 20, assuming that we get another mage. Well, let's pick up a couple more pikes then. Like so. Unless, wait. We do need more Hellstorms for Gelt. Well, I guess then we're better off taking advantage of that. So Wolfram Frankenwerter, you're going to go into a camp stance right here. You're going to globally recruit 2 more Hellstorms for Gelt. So that he has 5, should be sufficient. And at the same time, let's get those Silver and Guard for him as well. I'm into the whole silver and gold concept now. And we'll get 4 over time and just replace these guys with them. Alright, that looks good. Actually, speaking of Gelton, of course I'm doing everything out of order again. What is this? Sea Corps? What is this? Mysterious Islands. So this will be a battle and this will not. Loot to Carcass. Oh. Well, I was about to say we could auto-resolve it, but... with the orcs nearby, do we risk it? I don't think they'd be able to kill Gelt even if we take a lot of damage here. He could just magic them all to death. Yeah, it's fine, I'll resolve it. But just in case, let's heal up. Alright, see if we get anything interesting or useful out of that. Come on, big money. No, no dice. Just, well, 8,000 gold, which is money, but not what we were after in that particular moment. Alright, you are going to go for Fortified Grog. There we go. Mathland's Blessing should help. You can't heal in neutral waters, unfortunately, and it's time to return and pick up your territory, pick up your units. Here's success chance. Good. Level 11. Oh, so close to 12 in that Lord's Counselor, and then this Tech Thief will probably never fail again. Speaking of Tech Thieves, while we're here... You. Wait, what level are you? 9. Okay. You need 10. Steel Tech? Another success, good, and that puts you up to 10, meaning you can get 1 more point in Steel Tech, and then we wait for Star Student. I don't think there's anything else that helps you on the field. We will want to get Machinations of the College, but, well, it'll be a bit. And I think, wait, am I wrong, or is there another Tech Thief, or did that one die? Tech Thief... Huh. One? Okay, that was the first one that died. Do we only have 2 up and running right now? Wait, 1, 2, 3. I guess we only had 2. Alright, fine, fair enough. Von Kessel. Alright, we may as well start getting you those Knights of the Everlasting Light, since that's what we're doing with you. And I guess you're actually going to have to start moving this way, since we're recruiting your army, or even transferring your troops there. So start moving this way, I guess. And then we'll send you wherever it is that we need to send you. Dolph, you're, I believe, free to take Negenhof now.
For Sigmar and
And you can occupy it yourself because Ostermark doesn't exist. Or rather, it's part of the Empire now. As in, part of the Empire proper. As in our faction. I mean, it would still be a grand province, but you know what I mean. I'm very clear with, today. Let's see. Vlad is hanging around. That army got destroyed. Oh. Wait, is this... Which clan is this an Oakenhammer? Let's find out. Are you able to reach? Yes, you are able to reach. Alright, you're gonna go here, Elspeth. You're gonna take this in a second, and we will want to move you here. Vlad may move to attempt to attack you, but it's fine. We'll be fine. Nobody panic. Alright, you. For you. Huh, why do we have an extra slot? What's missing? What the heck did I want in this army? We could get another engineer. We don't need a mage. We could get a warrior priest. I suppose we could have 2 empire captains if we really wanted to. Oh, we need another steam tank. That's what I'm missing. I was like, wait a second. Why are we at 19? But yeah, that's why. Alright, that's fine. At least for now. Nobody will die, I assume. Auto-resolve. Oh, you can now have the regeneration thing. You're the champion of this army now. And everything else is fine. Occupy. Alrighty, and we'll stay here for the turn to heal up, but otherwise we will move away. I see they haven't modified Terrifying Mask of E, which is exactly the same as it always was. And I wonder if this guy will stay here or fight. Wait, are you? Nope, not willing to peace out with us. Well, boo to you. Machinations. We've got 4 turns until Unify. Requisition we are probably going to use shortly. I would probably like to use a recruitment cost and local province reduction. And I would like to use that here. I think. Yes. Yes. Then, now let's see if I can do this right. We will take Mr. Wolfram Blaze. Wait. What about Aldebrand? Okay, you're level 12. You got... yeah, you got leader over now, which is the main thing. Imperial training, anything else here help you recruit guys? This will, but I'm not sure that we're... Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yes, then we can give you a guy. You know, the guy? The militiaman. The recruiter guy. Alright, then... Everything's coming together. You can go into Fort Schipple and just hope that you don't pick up the, hope you don't pick up the plague. Like so. And moment of truth. Alright, that makes the Demigryph Knights significantly cheaper. Then I would like you guys... Okay, faced first of all. You are going to take these guys, and I don't know, the huntsmen are fine. We probably only need one of the captains, but I don't remember which, so we can ignore it for now. Transfer back these handgunners. Alright, transfer to you.
Theodore Bruckner.
And let's do, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll keep the White Wolves, or whatever they're called. It is the White Wolves, yes. For... Wolfheart, I guess. Oh, speaking of Wolfheart, so I asked you guys who knew what the deal with Wolfheart was with regards to getting his heroes, and somebody responded that it is... Wolfheart does have a quest to unlock them. Does anybody know what level he completes said quest? As in, what level do we have to wait for him to have them? Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all of them, right? I think he has them all. I think it's 4. Okay, well then we're just gonna confederate him next time we see him. He apparently has them all. Okay, never mind. Just gotta wait for him. Let me just see here. It would have been too nice if it... oh wow, Crackerdrack's basically dead. Well, we could trade with him for a little while though. Yeah, why not?
Welcome, men of the Empire.
Might as well give us all your money since you're gonna die anyway. Sorry, Crackerdrack. Not gonna bother with the defensive alliance. And you're fighting all those chaos factions, which does make sense. We might help you out at some point if you manage to survive. We wish you much luck. The rest of this is okay in the sense that we don't want to deal with it. We do want to peace out with you, but only after we knock that thing out. Anyway, let's start from the top again because I'm an idiot and stop doing things in order all the time. Ooh. Huh. I don't think we should auto-resolve this then. This guy could attack. Vlad, are you close enough to reinforce? Well, actually, you'd attack by yourself, wouldn't you? You're probably too weak for this. By yourself? Oh, actually, speaking of being too weak, Marius, and not being particularly sane either, you're gonna head to here, and you're gonna sit there, and we can also build a town while we're at it. Yeah, that's fine. Elspeth is fine, everybody's fine. I would like to keep these free companies so that they, you know, they're high rank and stuff. Alright, maybe we risk auto-resolving, just hope that this army doesn't die next turn. Alright, don't hurt us too much. It's a bit, but it is what it is. Occupy for ourselves. We're not going to bother giving this to Sylvania. We can't trust them with the corruption everywhere here. It's too much for them. Initiate and Zealot. Can you have the Initiate and Zealot then? Ancillaries? I have a Hedge Wizard as well. Though that feels inappropriate for the Warrior Priest, but anyway. Elite College Acolyte rather. Zealot's only for Lords. What about Initiates? Initiate is not. Alright, Initiate for you. You can have the Zealot. Like so. Alright, beautiful. Then I assume that you are able to get your missing Drakewald Riders, so we'll delete this Empire Knight. Yeah, I know, they're reasonably high level, but nonetheless. Just a basic Empire Knight. Alright, there we go. That's our third Drakewald Rider. I don't know, maybe we'll have 4, maybe we'll have 6, depending on what this army will look like at the, sort of in its final form. This isn't even its final form. I don't think any of our army is in its final form yet. The closest is Dolph's army. He's just waiting for 2 royal sons, noble sons abroad, and then of course this engineer. And his army will be the first to be complete, most likely. Anyway, Boris Broch, head out this way. Wagner, you're waiting. Hopefully not for too much longer. Waldemar, you are also waiting, but also hopefully for not much longer. Ooh, actually, there is a thing I needed you to do. Let's take a look at what we have here. Ballistic plating for Lord. Yeah, that'll work. Let's take the ballistic plating for Lord. You don't have already a engineer here, do you? You do not. I swear I recruited an engineer somewhere, but apparently it wasn't here. Well, that's fine. Hazard technician.
Engineer.
Hey, engineer, that's you. I definitely want one of these guys for our artillery pieces. Volkmar Scout, still a distance away. Theodore Bruckner. Okay, so this is the thing that we wanted to do. So Aldebrand, Ludenhof, and... Oh, did I screw this up? Well, sort of, in the sense that we need to delete some stuff. You're gonna delete this. Keep the Knights of the Blazing Sun, we can put them to use. I imagine that this is enough hunters. What we need to do here is recruit 1, 2, 3, 4 Demigryph Knights. And we need to recruit 1, 2... Oh, right, no space. Alright, get rid of these guys. I'm just gonna assume it's sufficient. We have a bunch of unnecessary troops here, and plus, look how cheap we can build them. I mean, only for the one turn, but anyway. Let's say 4. Yes? Just looking at what else we have. Oh, and the flagellants as well. Okay, it's gonna take a bit to recruit all this. Maybe faster to do this. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 turns? Never mind. That did not go faster at all. Just double checking, but I don't see any Ulrich units. Alright, HOCHLAND long rifles, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Demigryphs, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, should be good. I didn't do a proper count of any of that, but I'm just going to assume that it is sufficient. And then you...
Huntsman General.
Well, we could do the count later, I think. Yeah, I'll count it later. We should probably summon the Borderman handgunners. There are 2 armies that are kind of hankering for them, but this army will most likely be on field sooner than the others, so let's put it in here. Like so. Alright. Looking pretty good. You're gonna be nearly ready. This army should be ready to go. Oh, right, this is where I summoned the engineer. I knew I wasn't crazy. Alrighty. Not that they're mutually exclusive, mind you. Grandmaster is fine. Master Engineer... still don't have the one I like, or the one I wanted. But it's okay. We'll get one eventually. And if we don't, we'll just use an Arch-Elector or a General of the Empire or something. We do have an esteemed one. Bolstered command. It's something. And the upkeep reduction. This is only for artillery, which wouldn't work for our gunnery troops, generally speaking. Yeah, nothing too interesting trait-wise on these guys. I guess defensive is probably the best for the 5 melee defense, which is solid. For our Bretonnian army, I think that'll work nicely. Anyway, back to trying to do things in order, after interrupting myself like 50,000 times. Alright, so the recruitment here is basically complete. And Bruckner is the only one. He's waiting for his own army, which should be up and running pretty darn quick. Ooh, gonna have to figure out what kind of lord we want to lead him. Do Grandmasters buff Demigryphs at all? I guess we'll have to double check.
Huntsman General, death awaits.
What he will definitely need is a life wizard, however. And most likely a warrior priest that gives unstoppable, or I'm just double checking. Nope, Demigryphs do not, in fact, have devastating flanker. so we will need a warrior priest to give them devastating flanker. Like I said, I only want a few demigryphs in this army, maybe 6, and then just like a few heroes, and then that'll be the entire stack.
Now.
That way they'll effectively be always outnumbered. Anyway, let's do a little bit of building. Ooh, like I said, I did want to turn Drekwold into a money-making powerhouse, and it's looking pretty good in that regard already. Now let's do Weaving House, make it make more money. Might as well. Alright, Marienburg, you will also want to make money stuff. We will build the paved roads, but I think... I mean, we should really get the wizard thing up and running. Chapel of Ulrich, we will probably get in Middenheim very, very soon. Yeah, fine, just start building the Wizard's Conclave. We need it. It's inescapable. Oh, right, the Witch Hunter thing. I completely forgot. Was that this turn that it's ready to go, or was it the next turn that it's ready to go? It'll be the next turn at Zutzen. Alright, fair enough. Assuming we can't build this in one turn, which we cannot. We'll probably have to delete it later, but that's fine. Alright, keep building the money-making buildings, and Averheim, yeah, we'll upgrade the toll gates, expensive though they may be. We also will want to delete a bunch of the military stuff here, but in a little bit. We are still sending new armies forth, and we will want to keep supporting them with additional military stuff as needed. You're still in Plagueinated, are you? Somebody here is gonna pick up the plague, I guarantee it. Ubersreich. Ooh, hello. Yes to the clothier, and yes to the stupidly expensive toll gates, and that's all the money we got. But at least this way, despite the fact that we got a bunch of additional state troops, our money remains, or should remain, flowing. Skip. Damaged building? Oh, and Wissenheim. Actually, what's going on down here? How are we doing? Yeah, we're still doing okay. We're still holding these territories. What is this? High Elf rebels and Dwarf rebels. Are these territories that we transferred to these guys? I don't know. Well, Teclis is still alive, even though we took all his money for those territories, but I'm reasonably happy with that. We will want to give Scabby Eye Camp up to these guys, but only once they take another territory up here. Though now that we're at war with these guys, there's a decent likelihood they take Wissenheim, which means we'll want to send Gelt up there, but fortunately he's going here. He'll meet up with Wolfram, we'll transfer him his stuff, and then we will probably do his Staff of Voland's quest, because by then it'll be 2 turns left. Yeah, everything's coming together. Anyway, let's end one more turn. We're basically out of time, but it's kind of addicting. Ah, damn, they confederated it before we could take this one territory. Well, what can you do? All we can hope is get a territory to trade to them, like Fort Jakova, for example. That's one. And it's a lot easier than declaring war on the Great Orthodoxy. I was hoping they'd wait for one more turn. We also unfortunately need Weiler from them, but I'm willing to bet that. Let's see, Weiler is 83, that's not gonna happen. And no, it's not Vitevo that we want. Wait, what? It's Lubrecht that we want. Oh, we can't ask for Lubrecht because we don't have, well, Land is not part of our faction as yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Ready for duty. Control authoritarian. Oh, I should have waited for Gelt's Silver and Guard before this. Assuming they don't take 2 turns. Krudenwald receives a plague. Buildings damaged in Fort Schiphol. Where is Fort Schiphol? Here.
What does the Emperor bid?
Alright, a little bit of damage. I also note that we've got the negative public order rising here again, but yeah, those plagues are, yeah, -5 control each Plagueinated place. Go figure. And we'll deal with it. Now, I saw something weird during the end turn. So, Broken Wheeled Zinch, apparently these guys transferred their stuff. Okay. I wonder if these rebels can take Essen. Wait, this is Ostermark rebels, so the Ostermarkers will then revive, which we don't want. Huh. We could step away from Waldenhof to make sure that these guys go. I wonder how much Essen is worth to these guys. Alright, this is kind of interesting. Elspeth, you're gonna have to go after Vladdy. Is Oakenhammer worth the same to you, out of curiosity, as...
You are welcome here.
Essen is... Oh, you can't trade Essen because it's under... Oh, okay, Cam. Okay, we'll deal with it. We will, but we will deal with it next time. I think I think we'll leave it to next episode. So, I'm going to call the episode here. We have a pretty interesting situation here, but I think we are most likely going to be able to wipe Vlad out and possibly just the vamps out of Sylvania next turn. I see Grimgor is creeping forward, and we will have to deal with him sooner rather than later. Bretonnians are still embroiled in conflict, at least with the Broken Axe. However, due to the Drowned destroying themselves by, anti-player biasing us, it looks like they're very much on the way out. Otherwise, since Karl is no longer needed, since we won't be declaring war on the Great Orthodoxy, we will be able to send him north through these territories and to fighting Azag, and to fighting Throt, and to fighting Skarbrand, maybe Throg. There's some good stuff in there, and eventually I'm sure he will run into Archaon and Zazel and whoever else up there as well. It's only appropriate that we send Karl northward. Anyway, calling it here, more of this to come. Our new armies are rising, so stay tuned for the Hochlanders, for the Demigryph Knight army, for the Ostland army with the Witch Hunters and the Knights of Everlasting Light. We still got Knights Panther and the Mermidia/Verena army. Well, Verena army would be the Knights of the Everlasting Light, but Mermidia army with the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Lots of good stuff. Knights of Moor. We're getting there. And of course all the caravan armies. Not to worry, they're coming. We're still in the mid game. We've still got stuff to do. All glory to the algorithm. Likes and comments to threshold below. And thanks for watching.